The last statement of our last speaker about the warmness of Barry is something quite profound and something which I'm going to be talking with you about today. If I could hand out these little leaflets, this is to give you insight, if people pass them around, this will give you insight into the talk. Cultivating openness and a path to happiness. In 2011, as a visual artist, I embarked on a project called Between the Lines. It started in a local cafe. I'm from Barry. I've lived here for many years. I live on Barry Island, and it was a way of connecting with people. The idea was to meet people that I saw every day but never really talked with. And some people get together to meet people by having a coffee, hence they're at the cafe. But what I was going to do was try and do something slightly different using some of the talents that I had, and that was to share and create an artwork with another person. So I would just walk up to them and said, would you mind creating an artwork together? A bit of a bemused look initially, but it was a positive response. So I thought, well, this might go on for one or two people, and by about the sixth or seventh person, I thought, well, this is going to grow. And through the conversations I was having with people, the idea came up as to who would you make an artwork with next? And somebody suggested, how about another living, inspirational person that they regarded, the person I just made an artwork with, as an inspiration in their life? So, as you can imagine, the project then went from one inspirational person to another one. So it got bigger and bigger and bigger and started to connect from Barry to Wales to the UK. So at the moment it stands with well over 65 portraits, and people include extraordinary people that we have in our community, local people that maybe have been working with the community and for the community for 40 years that no one has ever heard of, to people who have been working in, we have innovative projects going on in Barry. For example, some of you might have heard of something like first responders. Now, they're a group that the ambulance service is struggling, as we know, at times. They give them a ring, and if they're in this area, they have all been trained. They go straight to the person who's in need as quickly as possible. Now, that model is now expanded right throughout Wales and right throughout the UK. It's Barry people for Barry person. We've got a lot of incredibly inspirational people right on our doorstep. And when you kind of spend time with them and they start to talk to you and share why they do what they do, you also start to fill up a great resource. And that's what this project started to reveal to me, that if we could put all these people together and put them in an exhibition or a place and focus on them, focus on all that energy, focus on all that positive contribution, focus on all that altruism and giving these people were sharing here in Barry. And as I say, Barry sometimes, if you know the area and if you've lived here a long time, had a little bit of a not so good reputation, should we say. Some of the other areas looked kind of down on it in a way. They didn't think it had what was maybe needed for a town to be as big and as grow and as positive as it possibly could be. But this project was showing that wasn't the case. What it was showing, one lady said to me, she said, I've lived on Barry Island now for 50 years, and what you get on Barry Island is people who are what she described as rough diamonds. Now, I don't know how we respond to a rough diamond, but there's definitely a lot of diamonds in this area. The history, from some of our previous speakers have said, it's very rich. And another person said to me, Barry has also got saints, which you described, and sinners. There's a few of them as well around. So there's a combination. Now, but it all creates this incredible energy in the town. The sinners keep the saints in check and vice versa. You know, they get to discuss each other, they get to spend time with each other, and they get to cleanse each other and share and really reveal what is beneath the surface. So going back to this project of sitting down and making an artwork or with someone, it was just a case of me spending time doing a drawing, talking with that person all the while, and then making a silver gelatine print, which is the old photographic print. And then the important part, other aspect to it, was for that other person then to write their written reflection. Now they could then tell the story from their perspective as to what they wanted to share with the community. So you can imagine when you go to the exhibition, there's been 4 so far, mainly in Cardiff, but there was one in Art Central a couple of years ago. You get to read and understand, and they offer all this information that you can take in, and there's a theme which started to come out. A number of people that have wanted to give to the community, they'd either been through a hard or difficult time themselves and needed to find some way of transforming that, or they just had a belief that they wanted to help and be and connect with people. But under that, there was this kind of direction where everyone was looking and searching for happiness, this kind of ethereal idea of happiness. Now, what all these people that I'd started to accumulate had in common was they were going to search for happiness through helping and sharing and giving to others. And there was major benefits for that. I think some of the other speakers have talked about that, crowdfunding, etc. When the community gets together, when the strength of the community is focused not on the individual, so you take yourself out of the equation and you just facilitate something else, then the energy starts to grow, then the energy starts to shine out, and you find that there's resources in the community that you wouldn't believe. So a number of years ago, people thought Barry was a poor place in some respects. They were so wrong. Barry is a very rich place, and it's very rich because of the people. That's the biggest resource that we got here. And if you ever think, like some of the speakers have said, that you want to do something, just connect with another person, ask them, and you'll be surprised how often they want to say yes. Give people an opportunity to say yes. Set about creating the community that you want to live in. Now, with regards to the portrait, the little portrait I made, there was a quote that always stayed with me when we were making these A4 pieces, these artworks were going to be exhibited. And that was, we can do no great things, only small things with great love. Well, that was a quote from Mother Teresa. If you think about that, if you give your whole of yourself to something specific, then the benefits that reach out are incredible. If you do something with an honest motivation, because you want to give to the community, the responses that you will get will be positive. They might not be immediately positive, but over time they will. But you have to do it with that honest motivation that you want to give. Okay? How are we doing for time? Is that all right? Okay. Now, as I said about you not getting in the way, there's a Japanese philosopher that said, those of us who are not possessed by anything in particular possess everything. So that's a case of leaving yourself out of it and letting the energy of the community go through. So have your idea, yes, and then let it happen through you rather than you getting your ego stuck in the way, you know. That's what Barry gives you. I found that as a visual artist, coming to it as a contemporary visual artist, there was a lot of prejudice. People had a lot of ideas about what an artist is. They hear in the media X, Y, Z, etc. But the local people of Barry, and Wales in particular, what they do is they get to the core of you. They really question you deeply. They look you deeply in the eyes and say, are you for real? Are you telling the truth? And I'm going to test you. I'm going to test to see if you are. So one of the things we did was put public installations out there and artworks, and if people didn't like them, they just tore them down. I did one in a local park. It lasted one night. Everyone just took it. But the strange thing that happened was, 3 days later, the artwork started appearing back at the studio door. So either they weren't very good, or they wanted to give something back to me. You know, it was a kind of a familiarity started to happen, and a dialogue started to be created. So this balance of giving something out, honestly sharing and giving, is at the heart of community building. Now I'll leave you with a quote by another Barry inspirational person, a lady that appears in Between the Lines. She's a historian. She is not just of Welsh acclaim, she's an international acclaim, but she lives here. She's lived here all her life. Her name's Deirdre Beddow, and she said something to me which she contributed during this. She said, "People make places, places make people." And it's a simple line, but it sums up exactly what we've got all around us. And as soon as you look and take it in and let things come in, cultivate that openness, send out positivity, and because you want to give and share, happiness will start to just manifest itself around you as well. So thank you all for listening.